Here we go. Hey YouTube, it's me, Michael Me. It's been a little bit since I've made a video, or actually I've made several videos that I never posted. Who knows if this one's going up? We'll figure it out. So, I'm here to talk about being accepted into the male group. It's hard to explain. Unless you've been through both situations where you've been part of the females and part of the males. And I've been in that situation. Guys act different around other guys than they would around, their friends that are girls. And that's super weird. Because that wasn't what I was thinking when I don't know, it just wasn't what I was thinking. I thought they would act exactly the same how they usually do, but the thing is, everyone puts on. I think it made me realize more that everyone puts on a face depending on which group you're hanging out with. And as an inside investigator, and this male group specifically are people that work with me at my job, which is at a restaurant. And whew, most guys, or I'd say all the guys except for a couple, are straight, heterosexual, traditional, The other two are like bisexual, I think, but not that matters. But their attitude differs from each other. It's so hard to explain. Hanging out with the guys, especially the group of heterosexual guys, the comments that I hear directed toward women and then toward women's bodies is kind of weird because it's not what I was expecting. I've always been an advocate for, hey, guys don't usually do shit like that. Guys don't usually talk about women's bodies behind their backs. Or at least I didn't think they did. Every guy I hung out with never did shit like that. And then I start processing it, it's like, wow, because I'm being seen and processed as a heterosexual dude, which aka I'm not heterosexual, but they don't know that. Who cares? They just incorporated me into their girl talk, where I know girls do the same thing, but they do it in more of a cutesy, I want to be in a relationship, and less of a damn, I would hit that ass real quick kind of way. These guys, it's so hard to explain, because these are also older guys. They're not part 100% of my generation. They are between the ages of 19, and I think the oldest one is 32, And they're all part of this little group that I'm also a part of. And they'll run into the kitchen, for an example, and be like, hey y'all need to come see this girl's ass at table 12. And I'll just kind of be like, wow. I don't know how to react. And it's not only that, it's how we treat each other as well. I've always been treated with, like I have feelings, People wouldn't say shit to me that would hurt my feelings, or say shit to me that they think would hurt my feelings. But since I started being seen as a guy more and more often, people are not afraid to comment about your looks. People are not afraid to comment about how you act. People are not afraid to comment about how ugly you are. And it's like, damn, that shit would have never been said to me if it was a few years ago and I wasn't passing, So when I have these random emotional outbursts at work, for an example, the guy group snaps back and they realize this is a person that A, is emotionally unstable, but B, was never treated this way growing up. Being part of the guys is a completely different experience outside of my understanding. And maybe it's because I've mostly been around people in my groups, like, that I hung out with through school. Those were mostly people that were conscious about what they were saying, that were against men saying shit about women's asses, that were a little more liberal with their speaking. So, I'm not saying I regret being part of the guy group. I'm saying that it's just a completely and entirely different experience when you start to pass. Um, Hello, I'm starting to pass. That's awesome. I'm almost a year on testosterone. That's awesome. When's my full beard growing in, honestly? But, it's just different. And different in a way that I can't explain directly, except that you get, the only things I could say is you get treated differently and people act differently toward you. And it's kind of in a way that I didn't understand because I haven't been around people like this before. So, especially people at a restaurant, these people that work in restaurants have a certain personality. You'll see the same personalities over and over again if you work in a restaurant. And it's not a fast food place. It's like a fancy restaurant. But the personalities repeat. You'll see these same personalities, and if one of these people quit, for an example, the exact same type of person will come in. So it's always the same power dynamic. And this group of guys always has the same amount of power. And it's like sometimes there's a few of them, most of them, not most of them, but there's a few of them that are married. And then there's a few of those people that flirt and ask girls for their phone numbers and be all like, hey, I'll send you nudes later. It's like, you're married. And that's some shit I really can't process. Because it's like, what does your girl think of this? So, it's coming from someone who grew up as a girl, who was treated completely differently in a female space. This is just something entirely new, and it's so hard to explain. The only thing I could say is being part of the boys hits different. And that's it. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I have a Japanese lesson to get to. Sayonara. Bye.